Happy 4th of July, everybody. Time for a pizza party. This pizza is a circle. Is that a Detroit style? Staten Island has grandma style. Is it Sicilian? That's right, everybody. Sanaa makes pizzas. But first, who is Sanaa? And can architecture and food actually share similar diagrams? This is the first of a series of food and architecture related videos. Let's dig in. Sanaa, a Japanese architecture office led by Katsuyo Sejima and Rui Nishizawa, makes loose-fitting architectural plans where the logic can be compared to the scattering of toppings on a pizza. Let's be clear, Sanaa's impact on architecture can't be overstated and certainly cannot be fully covered in this video. They've won the Pritzker Prize, they designed Serpentine Pavilion, they've taken home the Golden Lion, the list goes on. However, I'll do what I can to talk about the idea of a loose-fitting plan as a diagram, especially when it looks like pizza. This is the 21st Century Museum of Contemporary Art in Kanazawa. It's a story about life in the in-between gaps where you are not exactly told what to do. In architectural terms, program is the assignment of spaces to activity. A bedroom, kitchens, galleries, mechanical rooms, and so on. Usually, corridors link these zones, clear paths from one function to the next. However, Sanaa's loose-fitting diagram transforms from this logic. The museum scatters program across a circular field with alleyways weaving between them. The program becomes a figure ground condition. Let's pause. What is a figure ground condition? Normally, the Noli plan would be the clear example to illustrate this point. Graphically, the black denotes the inaccessible and the white identifies publicly accessible spaces. However, we're going to take a look at a project by contemporary artist Polybomb. Not in any way, shape, or form, challenges our relationship with art. When we visit a museum, we form this agreement to somehow not touch art. Polybomb takes this idea a little further by placing the art on the floor. As we dodge the art and try not to step on them, this game of the floor is lava is signified by the placement of the art, where you navigate only by the negative spaces. Polybomb choreographs your movement, not with signs, but with gaps. Architect Stan Allen, a professor at Princeton University, explores the loose-fitting concepts in his 1999 book, Points and Lines, in what he called field conditions. Some of the diagrams he developed forecast the pizza that we're about to see. Field condition, as Stan Allen described, a spatial condition without a singular hierarchy. They don't have a dominant center, a singular axis, or a preferred orientation. Instead, they rely on repetition, variation, adjacency to create meaning. In a field condition, the whole is not greater than the sum of its parts. The whole is the sum of its parts. This is exactly how the 21st Century Museum operates. It is not a building with a singular focal point. It's a building where every room has its own location, just like a well-distributed pizza. The result? A plan that lets you drift, linger, explore, or detour. You don't visit this museum, you meander through it, like a flaneur through a city. In contrast to the monumental choreographies of classical museums, Sanaa's Kanazawa project gives you the agency to invent your own itinerary, to enter from somewhere you choose, and to never feel lost. In fact, maybe that's the point of being in this building, to not know exactly the correct way, but exploring the sequence of spaces in your personalized way. Similarly, when we look at the Rolex Learning Center, we find more examples of pizza-like conditions. Except geometries are much more fluid, the shapes are no longer equilateral, and the gaps between the figures are uneven. This creates the condition where the size of certain corridors become programmatic in themselves. We see more examples of the utilization of gaps in the Moriyama house, where the in-between spaces are as important, if not more important, than the rooms. When we represented Taiwan at the Venice Biennale, we definitely designed a pizza. And maybe that's the deeper analogy here. Pizzas are democratized diagrams, sometimes circular, mostly communal, but always non-hierarchical. The measure of success is that the toppings are evenly distributed, everyone shares. And architecture, like food, can become a space of soft encounters where design doesn't just dictate behaviors, but in a subtle way invites you to make it your own. So next time when you order a pizza or walk through a plan that feels like a loose-fitting diagram, consider the richness of the simplicity, the clarity of the geometries, the generosity of the spaces between the toppings. And yes, Sanaa makes the best architectural pizzas in the world. Thanks for coming to this pizza party. I am Jimenez Lai, and this has been the first episode of our Architecture and Food series. If this left you hungry for more, please consider a like, share, or subscribe. Comment below and let us know which buildings are your favorite pizzas. And remember, every food has an architectural diagram, especially the loose-fitting ones.